What is going on, world? What's up, YouTube? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new episode of The 8 Below Show. Welcome everyone to 8 Below. Thanks for being here, guys, to the best entertainment-related show here on YouTube. And I'm super excited about our episode here today. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's get into it. We've gotten some questions and comments on the YouTube channel as well as through social media, guys, about Dark Sector and the future of this franchise, if there is going to be a future of Dark Sector. I've spoken about Dark Sector in the past, guys, that you guys can check out here on the YouTube channel, but what I think is really important, guys, is that we talk about, where is Dark Sector at this point, and can we expect it at some point in the foreseeable future? Is this a game that is just in a indefinite hiatus, a limbo state? Where are we at this point in time? Well, look no further, guys, than that of Warframe. Of course, guys, I'm getting this based upon Wikipedia, but Warframe was designed, guys, by the same publisher as well as the same developer as that of Dark Sector. And Warframe, guys, is a free-to-play action role-playing third-person shooter multiplayer online game developed and published by Digital Extremes. This is a game, guys, that came out back in 2013 on, of course, the PS4, came out in 2014 on Xbox One, then 2018 on the Nintendo Switch. But nonetheless, guys, this is a game that pretty much took a ton of reference from Dark Sector. If you read on the Wikipedia page for Warframe, it states the concepts for Warframe originated in 2000 when Digital Extremes began work on a new game titled Dark Sector. At the time, the company had been successful in supporting other developers and publishers and wanted to develop their own game in-house. The game suffered several delays and was eventually released in 2008, having used some of the initial framework but far different from the original plan. By 2012, in the wake of the success of free-to-play games, the developers took their earlier Dark Sector ideas and art assets and incorporated them into a new project, their self-published Warframe. And so initially the growth of Warframe was slow, hindered by moderate critical reviews and low player counts. Since its release, the game has experienced positive growth. The game is one of Digital Extremes' most successful titles, seeing nearly 50 million players back in 2019. So with that, guys, okay. So Digital Extremes, they made Dark Sector. And so where is Dark Sector 2 at this point? Well, is it something that they may come back to? They've stated in the past that Warframe was kind of their kudos to Dark Sector, was kind of their continuation. However, Dark Sector and Warframe, even though they're, technically speaking, they took a lot of stuff from Dark Sector into Warframe. Warframe is not Dark Sector. Don't get it twisted, guys. I mean, there are certainly elements of it that feel a little bit like Dark Sector, but as far as from my personal opinion, I like Dark Sector more than Warframe. I love the concepts that Warframe presents, that being like free to play, guys. That's absolutely awesome. It's got 50 million players. That's a huge player count. So I don't think Digital Extremes is going to be moving away from Warframe anytime soon. However, Dark Sector, if they were to make a second game, they certainly could incorporate, the promoting through promoting Warframe to Dark Sector as well as Dark Sector 2 to Warframe. So they could kind of really cross-promote the project, which I think a lot of us want to see a continuation of the Dark Sector, that universe and such, even though Warframe is certainly, I mean, it's better to have Warframe than not to have Warframe, that's for sure, but I think that a lot of us want to see a continuation of that narrative, that story into Dark Sector 2, and who knows, maybe Dark Sector, they could do a soft reboot and make it a free-to-play game as well, which would be really interesting, having some multiplayer elements and things of that nature, which, they have also in Warframe. The question is will they ever come back to it? And I gotta say, guys, it's hard to say. I believe it's definitely in a limbo state, maybe even an indefinite hiatus, because Warframe, the success of it, is showing us that they're going to just put more resources into Warframe than they would into a second Dark Sector. What my personal opinion is that I think that Digital Extremes most likely would move on to a new project altogether instead of even working on a new Dark Sector title, just because Warframe is kind of their kudos to Dark Sector, and then, they could move on to another IP that they want to design or something. That would make more sense to me, but Dark Sector 2 is something I would certainly like to see. I just don't know if it's something that's realistic because of the success currently of Warframe. However, never say never, guys. I say this all the time on the YouTube channel. You can never say never when it comes to the games industry and what they decide to do. Like I said, as a comparison, Apex Legends is a free-to-play game within the Titanfall universe, and so if they make a Titanfall 3 at some point or another, they can use Apex Legends to promote Titanfall 3 and Titanfall 3 to promote Apex Legends. You could do the same thing here with Warframe as well as Dark Sector. I'm hoping that's something that we do get at some point in the future, guys. It's just very hard to say if I can really see that even happening. This is a game that's actually spanned over the course of time, guys, and they've gotten to a point where they've got, over 50 million players. That's a really big deal, and they've got it, on all these different platforms and such. They're even going to have it, of course, on the Xbox Series X as well as the PlayStation 5. So we're going to kind of have to look through, really just kind of keep an eye on it, guys, and see, if anything really materializes in the next couple of years. If they decide to make another Dark Sector game, I would be really excited for that. I think Dark Sector 2 could do really well on the next generation hardware as far as from a graphical standpoint and all that. And they've had plenty of time to start kind of really thinking about other ways that they can start continuing to build this world and such based off of the first Dark Sector game. And who knows, guys, incorporating things from Warframe back into Dark Sector 2, I think it would be a great thing for the fan base as a whole. Maybe they don't want to split the fan base from Warframe and Dark Sector, but we'll just have to wait and see. I'm hoping that we get a Dark Sector 2, but definitely don't hold your breath, guys. But with that, let me know in the comment section down below, where do you guys think Dark Sector 2 is? Do you think that it's being in early stages of development? Do you think it's on an indefinite hiatus, a limbo state? Or do you think it's something that's kind of not even really something that Digital Extremes is even thinking about at this point in time? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more Dark Sector 2 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. It's been a few weeks since there was the massive blow up in the beauty world, which, guys, you guys can check out that content on the YouTube channel. I've already talked about pretty much the ins and outs of kind of what's going on at this point in time in the beauty world from a standpoint of Jeffree Star and James Charles and, Shane Dawson and all these guys who are involved in multiple ways, multiple accusations and things of that nature. So you guys can check out all of that. The question here in this segment of the show, though, that I want to talk about is, where is Shane Dawson at this point? This is a guy who I've stated on my YouTube channel a number of times that I have looked up to as a fellow content creator on YouTube, someone who I believe has really done an incredible job at crafting, video in an incredible way on YouTube. And when I say that, guys, I mean, based upon, his conspiracy, videos that he's done, he really has been changing how we tell stories here on YouTube. And I think that his documentary with Jeffree Star was one of the best series I've seen so far on YouTube as a whole. The production quality, it was very down to earth. It just felt really great. And I thought everything about it was very interesting, and learning a little bit, getting a little glimpse at what the beauty world is all about, because I'm not in that world whatsoever. Getting a glimpse at that was really intriguing and interesting, to say the least. Well, with that, guys, Shane Dawson has not tweeted in quite some time, and he hasn't uploaded on YouTube in quite some time either. The last time that he posted was back on June 26, guys, and the last time that he tweeted was on the 26th, where he posted his video. But before that, the last thing he said was, "I deleted everything. I'm done. For those who wanted me to address it, I did. I'm sure you can find it reposted somewhere, but I don't want this negative energy or just this energy in my life or on my timeline." And his video was called Taking Accountability. And let's just say that it was, very mixed as far as the reaction is concerned. And so but Shane has not tweeted since the 21st saying that, and then of course the 26th where he posted that video on his YouTube channel. The last time he uploaded was, of course, like I said, the Taking Accountability video. Part of me is wondering if at this point in time he wants to kind of almost wait until the storm passes, so to speak, of everyone who's just kind of lashing out about all the everything that's coming out about Shane Dawson, which we're not going to get into in extreme detail, because it hurts me quite a bit, guys, just because I was a big fan of watching Shane Dawson and his work. I thought some of his content was incredible, but what's come out about him, about his past and such, is very disturbing, and it's sickening to say the least. So I'm not going to get into that, but what I will say is that based upon when he has, last tweeted, and then of course last time he uploaded on his YouTube page, the question now is where is Shane Dawson? We go on his Social Blade, guys, and we will see that he is losing on average 43,000 daily subscribers, and he was losing millions at a certain point in time. In the last 30 days, he's lost 1.3 million subscribers. In viewership, I'm not sure how this works as far as how do you lose viewership. That's really weird to me, but he lost 1 billion views in the last 30 days. I don't know if that's some kind of glitch, guys, on Social Blade or something, but I thought that was really alarming to me, that somehow, some way, he's losing all these views. Now, I'm part of what I'm wondering is that he's deleting videos or something. Maybe that's something that is making him lose those negative viewership, because in one day he lost 23 million views. To say the least, though, guys, he got so much backlash. He got the main heat of the backlash when it came to everything going on in the beauty world, which all of this, basically certain individuals within the beauty world are stating that, Jeffree Star, Shane Dawson are advising one way or another to make certain videos and things of that nature. And there's a lot of backstabbing in the beauty world, which I believe that there probably is, because there's backstabbing in every single type of, industry on YouTube or even outside of YouTube. There's a lot of backstabbing that goes on, guys, in the business world, in the beauty world, wherever it might be. So I don't think that that's only just in the beauty world. That's in a number of different areas. But with that, where is Jeffree? Where is, Shane Dawson at this point? I got to say, guys, he's probably riding this out. We've gotten the question here on the YouTube channel, when do we think that Shane is going to return? When do we think that Jeffree Star is going to return? When do we think all these guys are going to be coming back to YouTube and kind of going back to some form of normalcy there? And to be honest, guys, the big thing here is that Shane, even if he could come back and decided that he wanted to, he probably wouldn't be uploading because his entire channel got demonetized, which means, guys, that he can't make any money off of his YouTube videos in which he's getting millions of views. On top of that, he would have so much negative energy coming into the fray, just people just bashing him in every video. He would have to disable comments and things of that nature. So I just don't see him coming back anytime soon, at least to YouTube. Now, somewhere else, maybe, but I think that no matter where he goes, he's got a very solid following of people who really love his content that will stick with him through the thick and thin. But then there's also going to be the haters now. They're going to be following him no matter where he goes. Same can be somewhat said for Jeffree Star, except the difference, guys, is that Jeffree Star has always been kind of labeled the villain in the beauty world and such, and he accepts that. And so this is just another, example of him being the villain. Now, him being silent about it kind of tells you that he's probably waiting out the storm as well. Shane, on the other hand, has always been kind of more of a, not quite labeled a villain. Obviously, pretty much the opposite of that. He's looked at more as like a hero and such in a number of different ways. Obviously not now, but with that, he, has been labeled something totally, the opposite pretty much of a villain on YouTube, and very compassionate and caring and things of, and kind of things of those lines. But now, that all changed. And I actually think, guys, that the beauty world has changed in a major way now because of what's going on with Shane Dawson as well as Jeffree Star, and with James Charles and all of these other people and figures within the beauty world. I think it may be changed forever, which that'll be another conversation for another day. But at this point, I believe Shane Dawson is kind of just laying low, kind of wants this storm to pass, and then he'll probably make some official statements, or he'll probably come back out and start talking about, maybe he'll make another YouTube video, maybe he'll go somewhere else to make, some videos. It's very hard to say, guys. But with that, I want to hear from all of you. What do you guys think about all of this stuff that's going on between, Shane Dawson at this point? Where do you think he is? Do you think he's laying low? Do you think he's looking at what his next move's going to be? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more content like this, guys, stay here with Zero TV. I've had people ask me on YouTube as well as on Reddit and other, forms of media, guys, about a question regarding game development, because I've been pretty vocal about game development and how I believe game development can compare to filmmaking. It's another form of art. Obviously, it's different, but there's similarities, obviously, to both industries. And I've done filmmaking. I've never done game development, but from what all the behind the scenes, all the things that I've learned from just people who were former game developers and things of that nature, it definitely seems to me that there is some type of connection, or there are similarities, but there's certainly, differences as well. But with that, guys, one of the big things that people have asked me about is, criticism of game developers and fans in particular being critical to game developers about specific, games and such. And I'll give you kind of an example here because it's more kind of fresh in my mind, and I'm sure in a lot of your minds as well. Criticism over The Last of Us Part 2. Now, I'm not going to go over, is the criticism, just, or is it, valid, or is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Whatever the case might be, I just want to go over, based upon some of the things that we've heard from, fans and such that had significant backlash based around The Last of Us Part 2. And does it really, is it just, and is it something that, is comparable to other industries? And I'll give you a comparison to, once again, guys, to the filmmaking industry. Let's talk about it and let's have a real conversation about it. I don't want there to be heated arguments, guys, in the comment section down below, but I definitely want to have just, real conversation about it, because I think it's a conversation that needs to be had. So criticism of game developers, guys, is gone back years now, right? I mean, ever since I can remember. However, I will, admit that the criticism has certainly become more and more apparent as social media has come around and social media has evolved over time, and everyone on social media feels that they have a voice, and they should feel that way, that we all have a voice. We are all our own, person, right? There's only one you in the entire world, which is a beautiful thing, and it also gives you the ability to voice your opinions about different things. Things that you may find interesting in life, I may not find interesting, and the same can go for me, thinking that I have things that I think are interesting that you may not think. So at the end of the day, that's what makes us human, is having different, different things that we enjoy, different things that we like. You may not like The Last of Us Part 2 and I might like it, or I might not like, Red Dead Redemption 2 and you might love it. That's what makes it, it's a beautiful thing where we're all able to have our own opinions. Okay. In the game development world, there were, when it came to The Last of Us Part 2, the backlash was so severe on certain elements, which we're not going to get into, spoilers here, guys, but it was so severe that, people were going after the actors or the voice actors and actresses on social media with death threats and things of that nature. And look, people think that this is, so different from other industries, but I'll just compare it to the movie industry, that being one title out there, guys. That's a very big title in the filmmaking world, that being Star Wars. When the new, the sequel trilogy came out, and regardless of what I thought of it or what, other people thought about it, there was significant backlash in a major way. Now, I believe that the differences between, let's just say, for example, Star Wars to something like The Last of Us is Star Wars is obviously, this is a franchise that's, kind of, stood the test of time almost. It's gone way back, guys. It's a franchise that's really been built. And these characters, actors and actresses, are like larger than life celebrities now. Now, I'm not saying that the voice actors within The Last of Us Part 2 aren't, celebrities at this point, but they're not like John Boyega, from Star Wars, the sequel trilogy and such. So what I'm getting at is when people start talking, or the backlash was coming back on John Boyega and some of these other people, J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson and all these different people. A lot of times they get so many comments as it is that they just kind of, brush it off. A lot of them don't even, respond on social media, or they have like an agent that actually, controls their social media accounts and such. So with that though, these other personalities, that being like these voice actors, they don't have as big of a following as, say, let's just say, for example, John Boyega and some of these other people within the sequel trilogy of Star Wars. And so when people start having that backlash, it's a lot more almost overwhelming. And now, obviously, the one person who's been very, outspoken about all of this is Neil Druckmann, who is, of course, the creative director of The Last of Us Part 2. And he's kind of been outspoken that people should not be attacking, the voice actors and actresses and such about, The Last of Us Part 2. And because at the end of the day, guys, the voice actors and actresses, they sure are going to have certain, they'll give their opinions on, where they think their character needs to go and such. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the director's decision, the producers, and, everyone behind the scenes and behind the camera that are going to be making those decisions on where the characters go and such. So with that though, what I saw from Star Wars, the sequel trilogy, is something very similar to what we've seen in The Last of Us Part 2. The backlash to The Last of Us Part 2, guys, I mean, sure, it seems so significant because you have different voice actors and actresses. You have the directors and such that are responding, kind of almost, getting more conversation going, which is making some people very upset. Others are kind of more understanding. Whereas with Star Wars, it was basically just, here's the movie. And obviously, you had John Boyega and some of these other guys who would respond, but it wasn't like it is in the gaming industry. Look, gaming industry, guys, is not there yet when it comes to, this isn't, the filmmaking industry yet. It hasn't been around. I mean, filmmaking's been around for years upon years, decades upon decades. The video game industry has not been around nearly as long as filmmaking. And so we're just not there yet. It's kind of like esports and traditional sports. Esports is starting to grow in a major way, but it's not there yet. It isn't where traditional sports are. Traditional sports have gone back, decades upon decades, whereas esports is still very young. We're still trying to figure it out. The same can be said when it comes to the video game industry. It's similar to some of the voice actors and actresses don't even get royalties based upon the sales of the game and such. That's actually been, documented with games like Grand Theft Auto and other places. Whereas with, movies and the filmmaking industry, guys, a lot of your top, actors and actresses in your movies are getting royalties based on, those movies that they are in. And they could be getting those the rest of their life, making money off of those movies the rest of their life. And so what I'm getting at is we're just not there yet with the video game industry. So we're in the very beginnings of, in my opinion, still of the gaming industry. We're starting to get to I think we're getting, further and progressing more and more. And with that comes bigger fan bases. It comes more backlash when there's something that is a little bit, different. Or something that is, not going to be as widely accepted, something that might not, be somewhat controversial. There's going to be a lot more of that backlash and such. And believe me, guys, this isn't just going to be the only game that has this. There's going to be other games out there. I guarantee you probably the next Grand Theft Auto will have something that'll be really controversial. Game after game, there's going to be things that come out, guys, that are going to be somewhat controversial. And so, to me, when it comes to criticism, you have to look at it from the standpoint of, in other industries, there is backlash similar to this. We just don't see it as much because a lot of times the celebrities and such don't respond all the time to us as fans, like say for Star Wars, for example. But there are a lot of people out there that did not like the sequel trilogy to Star Wars. They did not like The Rise of Skywalker or The Last Jedi or The Force Awakens. They didn't like it. They thought it was bad for the overarching story and franchise of Star Wars. And so the backlash was severe. You just go on social media, guys, when those movies were coming out, and you could just see it. I mean, there would be some positivity. There was a lot of negativity. It's similar to The Last of Us Part 2. There was positivity and negativity. And all I'm saying is that you got to really look at those things. And yes, is it a problem at the end of the day? Sure. I mean, I think that, we should be able to have, we have a voice, guys. We're allowed to use our voice. I think it's the way, though, that we go about doing things. I've seen things in within other games, guys, that are out there. I've been overly critical sometimes about the Gears of War community and how they're just a backlash consistently on the coalition. That drains a developer after, at the end of the day, guys. And to a degree, I've even stated that it could, even though Gears 5 came out, and then you had Gears 6 and Gears 7, both got confirmed by Rod Ferguson before he left to go work with Blizzard on Diablo. He stated that those were confirmed, that they were coming. But with this kind of backlash and such that comes out, and negativity, negative energy, it may not happen. They may not continue it because of the negative energy. Now, at the end of the day, it comes down to sales and, the business side of it. All I'm getting at, guys, is look, you have to look at things like, if they never took the leap of faith, that being like, say, Lucasfilm and Disney, took the leap of faith to make more Star Wars movies, we wouldn't have anything. We would just have had, the saga as we know it, the 6 movies. We wouldn't had any continuation, which in my opinion, I would much rather be able to explore more and be able to watch more and learn more about this world and the lore and such. We would have never gotten The Mandalorian, which a lot of people loved. We would have never gotten what is probably coming at some point or another trilogy to add on to Star Wars. It builds the legacy, it builds the lore, builds the story. And sure, there's going to be positive movies that people are just widely accepted, widely loved. Then there's going to be ones that people don't like as much. For me personally, with the sequel trilogy, I thought The Force Awakens was really good. I thought that The Last Jedi was definitely a step in the wrong direction. And I thought that The Rise of Skywalker was one of my favorites of all the movies. I just really enjoyed it from an entertainment perspective. And so what I'm getting at, guys, is it's similar to games like the Call of Duty franchise. There's going to be some games in the Call of Duty franchise that come out every single year that we love, others that we don't love, right? I mean, there's peaks and valleys with all of these things. And sure, I think that we need to be able to voice our opinion, but I think it's the way in which we do it, where we're not, causing and really showing hate towards other people and such. Just having conversation is fine. Having hateful conversation or just being hateful towards others, towards different decisions and such, I believe that we can do a lot more, obviously, by having conversation, but I think it's all about the way that you say it. It's all about the way that you present it. Don't just be, lashing out at developers that have spent years upon years working on something. If you don't like something, sure, voice your opinion. But don't be giving out death threats and being, very almost violent about it. Just, voice your opinion and then you gotta move on. At the end of the day, the game's been made, guys. The movies have been made in the Star Wars franchise. They've been made, okay? Regardless of what you say, you're not going to be able to change how it was. Now, can we help shape the future of the franchise? Sure, we as fans are going to be able to kind of potentially shape how we want, and they'll, a lot of times the game developers, the filmmakers will kind of look at those things and think, oh, they really want this or they really want that. And sometimes, though, developers and, movie studios and such have their own vision for what they want to do. This is their work and they're spending years upon years doing it. So you got to respect that at the end of the day, guys. Be critical when it is, when you should be critical, but don't be spreading hate. Don't be spreading, this significant negative energy that spews over to people who weren't necessarily involved in some of the decisions behind the scenes, like supporting actors and actresses. Some of those people may not even had really a lot of those, creative decisions at the end of the day. So you just have to remember that when you go tweeting at people and, really stirring up hate towards others. But this is just what, one man's thoughts about it, guys, and people being critical of game developers and just games as a whole. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Let's have a real conversation about it. I want to go over in this segment of the show, guys, the 3 movies I'm watching, August 2020 edition. Super exciting, guys. This is the segment where we talk about the upcoming movies that are supposed to be coming out this current month or any current month, guys, and we talk about the 3 movies that we're going to be watching that month. Now, obviously, guys, with the pandemic going on at this point in our world right now, obviously, the release dates may change. They may shift at some point or another, and so take these with a grain of salt, but these are definitely, if they stick to these release dates, these are the movies that I'm going to be watching this month. So let's get into it. Coming in, guys, at number 1 for me is Tenet. Tenet, guys, has been delayed a number of times, guys. It's now slated for August 12th, and this is a movie, of course, Christopher Nolan, I believe, one of the best visionary directors in our world currently, working, and what I gotta say, guys, is there's been a ton of speculation that Tenet is actually a sequel to Inception, secretly a sequel to possibly Interstellar, so there's a lot of, like I said, lots of, question marks around that. But nonetheless, I'm watching this because it's Christopher Nolan, another summer blockbuster type of film that I definitely want to see in theaters. And I'm really hoping, guys, that it's able to stick to the release date. If not, obviously we'll have to wait until maybe later this year to watch it. But it's been my most anticipated movie of the year. And so it's finally almost here. I mean, we're almost there. And I'm hoping that we're able to watch it, guys. Obviously, it's going to come down to if the movie theaters are able to open in a major way, but also it's also going to come down to if Warner Brothers decides that they want to release it now, or they just want to wait till all of the movie theaters are open across the country, because they want this to be a massive movie. I think they think that this is a movie that could make them a lot of money at the end of the day, like $1 billion plus. So with that, though, we'll just have to kind of wait and see. But Tenet, by far and away, is my most anticipated movie of the year, and is very excited, to say the least, to see this. Let's hope it sticks to an August release date. Coming in, guys, at number 2 for me is Unhinged. So I plan on watching it this month, guys. That coming out. Now, it came, the release date, I believe, was like July 31st or something, but haven't had a chance to see it, so I'm hoping to watch it this month for sure. Definitely want to watch Unhinged. This is starring Russell Crowe, guys. This is a single mother, or I should say a divorced mother, who ends up getting into a confrontation with a guy who ends up being Russell Crowe in like a road rage type of scenario, and he ends up stalking her, taunting her and such throughout the course of the story. Looks very intense, a massive thriller, and I'm excited to see this. I kind of like Russell Crowe, just like his character in this is going to be a little bit different from something we've ever seen from Russell Crowe, so I'm really intrigued by that. I'm also intrigued by Derek Borty, who is the director here. I'm interested to see how he does with a movie like this. It'll be something, I think, to say the least, that is something I'm certainly looking forward to. And then coming in, guys, at number 3 for me is none other than The New Mutants. Now, The New Mutants, guys, of course, is going to be based in the X-Men universe. This is a movie that is supposed to be coming out August 28th. Once again, you got to take these dates with a pinch of salt, guys, because obviously with the pandemic going on, they could be pushed way further, because obviously they want to make sure that they have plenty of time to promote, get these movies out in a way in which they can promote it, and everyone who wants to see it can go ahead and see it. And so The New Mutants, though, for me, guys, coming out later, of course, in August, is a movie that, I don't know, lots of people are a little bit skeptical of. I'm very excited about. It seems like a dark type of story, but I'm interested to see these new mutants, like the up-and-comers, like the ones who are going to take us into the next generation, essentially, of, X-Men. And so I'm really excited about that. I can't wait for them to introduce some new characters that we can kind of learn more about these mutants. I can't say enough, guys, how excited I am about this, and even though there's people that are concerned about it because of delays and, things of that nature, I'm looking forward to it, to say the least. But these, guys, are the 3 movies I'm watching here August 2020. Obviously, this list may be somewhat similar in the months to come because of the pandemic going on, depending on what happens. But I will certainly be updating all of you as we go along. But these are the 3 movies. What are the 3 movies that you guys are going to be watching here in August of 2020? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more 3 movies I'm watching, content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. And with that being said, everyone, I hope you guys did enjoy this episode of the 8 Below Show. And if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive. And as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace.